Now we want to speak about wills and trusts. Sometimes people don't know the difference of them. So the most simplistic way you can remember it is wills is giving you the direction of what to do with someone's wishes. And then trust is going to give you the protection of it. So for example, life after death, you have to have that conversation with, your family. What does that look like? So what someone wishes he's giving you, or the person who passed away is giving you what their wishes were, and the trust is going to enforce those wishes to, come to life. So when it came to our life and everything like that, we had to be real about our situation, and you can kind of talk about that a little bit more, babe.
Yeah, so before we ever got together, I had kids outside of my wife. Mm-hmm. So, of course, with our trust, I wanted to make sure that it was set up, because although I trust my wife and I know she'll do the right things, I just want to make sure that it's set up that my other kids that I have outside of her will be taken care of as well. Of course, there's things that they will have to do to inherit that money, but at the same time, it's just like I want to make sure that that trust was set up the right way. And I knew that if I just had a will, that she doesn't have to do any of the stuff that I said. That's because it's just the direction of what I'm saying, but the trust, it's the protection.
Yeah, and it sounds easier than what it is, because these conversations get really gritty. Because let's be honest, there are kids, right? Yeah. And they're kids before he met me. So as a woman, I had to be really, transparent and honest with my husband where I'm at with that.
Yes.
And what does taking care of his kids really look like to me, yes. Right? And I only say his kids just because they were before me, but we really see them as our kids. But what does that really look like? Because we have one together as well, biologically, right? So when you have these conversations, you have to get really detailed in these documents, because let's be honest, it could really tear up a family after one passes away, because a lot of people become entitled. And then you think about your own family. Think about your own family right now. We all have that one person that would just take the money and run with it. We don't know where the money's going to go towards. It's probably going to go towards consumerism, and then everybody else is mad at them. And it just completely can tear down a family foundation. And we know that's the number one thing that nobody wants to be what's the word? Nobody wants to ignite that in their own family just because they left this earth. Yeah. So when we sit down and have these conversations, we obviously have to be really thorough on what that truly looks like for us, and what are we comfortable with enforcing after one of us leave this earth. Go ahead.
I'm sorry, and keep in mind that even though we have to be thorough, we have to be very, very real about these conversations, because a lot of us, what we like to do is we like to avoid these conversations, because what we say that, oh, well, this, like it can't happen. No. Everybody dies. It's inevitable. All of us are going to pass away at some point. When you want your family's legacy to continue the right way, if you had this already set up. So, of course, these are conversations we have to have. We have to be very, very, very honest with each other, because we do know that we're going to pass away one day.
Yeah. And this isn't a conversation that probably will end in an hour. This may be a month, 2 months. It may take a full year. True. Just because it's not a conversation where one person is going to get their way and the other person isn't. There's compromise, and then you honestly really have to be comfortable with it.
Absolutely.
And the other thing about building wills and trusts is you get to really enforce whatever habit you want your generations to carry.
Absolutely.
So for example, for us, we believe in entrepreneurship. So we really want to embed that habit in our future generations. We get to do that in a will and trust.
Absolutely.
Another thing that we can really enforce our family to do is not only believe in capitalism, but that's our job to treat a will and trust looking at everybody through capitalism. This isn't about favoritism, or that's our kid and that's not our kid, and whatever else you want to put out there. That's really, truly who's going to be the person to really enforce the habit that we see our generations really encompassing, right?
Absolutely.
So conversations like that can get really gritty, of course, like I said before, but this is just scratching the surface of what we really, truly, speak more in depth about, because it's not a easy conversation to have one-on-one all the time. Sometimes you need those outside factors to really get you churning. So I personally challenge people to look at your own family, think about who will be able to carry the torch and what that torch should look like, and who do you want to be to your family?
Absolutely.
What do you want to ignite into your family when you do leave this earth? Because we're going to ignite something. It could be drama, trauma, or blessings, right?
Absolutely.
But you have anything else to add to that?
Nope. Just make sure you have this conversation with your family if you want your legacy to continue.